right, folks, welcome back. You're listening to You Ought to Know, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
Segment's brought to you by Collision Dock, Kearney Mesa. Collision Dock, Kearney Mesa. They used to be Bumper Dock, now they're Collision Dock, so they can do all the body work on your car, from full paint to body damage, suspension damage, you name it, they can do it. Go to collisiondock.com, collisiondock.com. All right. We have a couple special guests from Racial Radio.
Oh, yeah.
They just got pushy and said, no, we're coming on
no,
now.
they did not. I got pushy.
Well, you did. You're the only one.
We need time for these low
because you're all bummed you didn't get enough doggy time in the first hour.
Oh, yeah. We have powerful, passionate women on. I warned you 2 days ago, wear your seatbelt today.
You did.
Because
I've got it on.
I have passionate ladies. Did you need to do a commercial?
Oh, you did. You're not listening.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't know if I interrupted because I got all excited.
You always do.
Well, we have like dirt divas, if you will. We're talking.
Wait a minute. You better explain yourself. They look kind of clean to me.
I know, but dirt bike divas. We have we're talking national championships. We're talking factory riders. We're talking legit ladies.
They're just motorcycle riders at heart.
Absolutely. Please welcome.
See, her head's bobbing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, the other one is too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. If you're wondering, it is the one, the only, Sue the Flying Fish and Lori Payne. Thank you so much for making the long drive down.
Well, thanks for having us.
Where'd you come from?
Santa Paula for me.
Oh.
Like near Ventura.
Burbank for me.
Burbank. Oh, yours is closer.
Well, it's still...
Sue the Flying Fish.
Yes.
Is that something you made up or did somebody... Yeah. Don't you hate it when they do that? They give you a title.
I actually liked it. I mean, the press made it up and then they took my last name and would run with it and they do like...
I saw Holy Mackerel. Look at this lady. You know, I was like, that's a good one.
Right. And then they would do print ads with... The fish would be, the eye would be an actual fish. And it was great because it stuck.
It's memorable.
So for folks that don't know, what genre of motorcycles did you ride?
Well, I've raced a lot of different kinds of racing on two wheels, but for the most part, and my most passionate part is motocross.
Okay.
Professional motocross.
What years?
I was racing... let's see, I started in 1974 and I had to take about 4 years off for a bad mishap on the track to recover. And then I came back and I raced again until 1985. Okay. And then parlayed and went into, I did stunt work from there and then bicycled downhill mountain bike racing.
Slalom racing.
So when you were 12 years old, you said this is what I was going to be.
3, I think.
Nice one.
I thought so. I'm trying to be kind.
He's good. He can be well behaved.
Yes, I can on occasion. So did your family, were they into motorsports?
My dad was a motorcycle racer. Okay. And all of his friends in the 50s. And my mom hated motorcycles.
Oh.
Well, of course she did.
Not my mom.
Absolutely to a T. Forbid him to let me ride motorcycles.
Because you were her baby.
I was the firstborn, yeah.
And she doesn't want to see you bent.
She didn't know how the heck she ended up with a little girl like me.
Do you have a brother?
No.
There's the problem.
That's my parents always say. I'm my mother's daughter and my father's son. Yeah. Always.
I've said that a million times.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially when a guy says, Mr. Brendan, little girls are daddy's girls and little boys are mama's boys. And once you figure that out, unfortunately, daddy usually turns his daughter into whatever it is he wanted, which is somebody that enjoyed what he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what would your dad race for?
My dad raced back in the day Triumphs and BSAs and the bigger dirt bikes.
Flat
track out at Ascot. Yeah. All the Greenhorn Enduros.
My dad raced for Harley Davidson when I was a kid.
Cool.
So I totally get it. All right. What about you, Lori?
Oh gosh, I started in 1969 was my first race. I was 11 years old.
Was it the same thing? Your dad had a little girl?
I actually had an older brother. I was the youngest.
Actually. Okay.
But it was the two younger sisters that.
Yeah, your sister did well too, right?
My sister was the very first
And what about your brother?
National champion.
No?
My brother, he raced after my sister and I
Yeah.
started racing.
But he didn't really get into it.
He didn't. He wanted to. He just wasn't very good.
Does
Bless his
does
heart.
he know that you know that?
Well,
She probably figured it
yeah.
out.
Well, I beat him one race, and then
That's all it
he
takes.
never raced
Okay,
again.
I have to say this because I've been hearing this multiple times. You're having Sue Fish on and Lori Payne. You know they race men. You know they beat men. I've heard it multiple times from multiple people.
Well, and this is in a time frame when that was not really acceptable.
Oh no.
You've talked about that
My
before.
sister was taken out 2 different times on 2 different tracks.
Sure.
And broke both her legs.
Yeah, and oh no, and the men didn't care back
Boys
then.
did not. No,
No.
they did not. And she had long hair like me, and she would wear braids like I wear braids now. And when they saw a braid go by, they were not.
They're going
happy.
after her. Yeah. How about you? Same thing?
Big bullseye on my back for sure. And, I just didn't care. I just wanted to race. It didn't matter to me. Whatever. I'll race segways. Anything on wheels, just elbows out, and I'm going.
Yeah.
And,
well, Shirley Muldowney. I mean, I know it's NHRA. The only thing sad about Shirley is that she's very bitter about how she was treated in the early days.
Yep.
She didn't get the respect she felt she deserved. She was an awesome driver. I think if she would have got better equipment, better support, she would be a totally different person to this day. But I don't know if you've ever had a chance to talk to her.
I have.
But she gets a little, she's got that little, okay, that's all I need to say. I could see the wink.
Yeah.
But in the back of her mind, she's got to know what
She was still a
paved.
racer. She was still a
paved
racer.
the way.
Well, she was a kick-ass racer.
Oh, big time, big time. I mean, but thank God nobody tried to take her out because you got 2 lanes and a ton of horsepower.
Yeah.
And it's just that,
Yeah.
but she was so good at what she did.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's crazy. So we're going to take a break, and then we come back, and then we're going to really do the show.
Racer Radio.
And talk Racer Radio and talk some more about it, because you guys, whether you want to believe it or not, you're truly the trendsetters of motorcycle racing for women. Mm-hmm. Whether you want to admit it or not. I mean, and you didn't do it thinking.
Yeah, it wasn't the purpose.
Yeah, you're not thinking, hey, I'm going to be a star and I'm going to make a mark for women in motorcycling.
Right.
Never.
No, just get out of my way. I want to go race.
I want to race.
Just move over.
Move over.
But that's
Very
what-
good. I like that. You're not going to hit them. You'll just.
Oh, I might.
Oh, is that your dad talking or
No, that's
you?
That's her talking. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Racer Radio right around the corner. FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Start your engines. Race fans, you are tuning into the only motorsports show in San Diego. Your host, Dave Stahl, and the racing school teacher, Britney Sandoval, are taking you to the green flag, covering everything from your top-notch national drivers and crew chiefs right down to your local kid racers and racetracks. Strap in. It's Checkers and Wreckers on Racer Radio.
All right, folks, let's hear it for Dirt Dude. This is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
This is Racer Radio, brought to you by Black Forest Motorsports. If you have a BMW, Porsche, or Mini Cooper, hey, and you want to get a dealer alternative, you can't beat Black Forest. Over 40 years experience. Want to slap a number on the door and win? Black Forest Motorsports can hook you up. Go to blackforest.com, blackforest.com. All right, Brittany's been in for a couple hours, and she's brought us one pretty exciting show on Yak Radio, but right now we have 2 world famous, I'm going to call them world famous,
Absolutely.
motocross ladies from days gone by, where they started off where they had to stuff their hair in their helmet.
Or-
So you have short hair, so it's not, you can get away with it. Tell us who we got.
We have Sue the Flying Fish and Lori Payne, both with incredible riding records.
Wait a minute.
Racing records.
Where's Lori's title?
Oh, I used to be called Insane Pain.
Oh!
Lori Insane
Wait,
Payne.
would you cause or you were in pain?
A little of both.
Oh, okay.
Completely earned.
Oh my gosh, I
Completely.
did not know. Thank
So
you
in other
for
words,
sharing.
when they seen you coming, it was smart to get out of the way.
Yeah. Off air, we were just talking about your longevity. You're still racing. And are we still insanely in pain and
No.
in a different
No, yeah.
aspect? Why are
Wait a
you
minute.
raising your hand?
She's
Faye?
raising her
Yes.
hand.
What?
Oh, you are.
Oh, well,
Oh,
you
I
had some
see.
surgeries and.
I've had
No,
a
you've never had a surgery. What are you
long
kidding?
list. A
Well, she-
long
Well, it's probably
list.
easier to tell us what hasn't been
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't know if I even can.
Yeah.
No, you can't break hair. I've had it cut, but not broken.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
about it.
all the gray hair on my head, I've
Yeah.
earned every single one of them.
And what about you, Laura? You break anything?
I for the very first time in all my years of racing, 5 years ago, I crashed during practice. It wasn't
No!
even and broke my
That's only
collarbone.
one time
Wow.
One time.
in all the years you've been racing.
In all the years, I've been knocked out twice.
Well,
Ow.
that's
40 years
Wow.
apart. 40 years
you're
apart.
kidding.
Wow. So one was more recent.
About 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're still racing.
Oh yeah.
Oh my! These two were just racing flat track.
2
What,
weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago? Yeah.
I'll have to tell you my flat track story off air.
Another
But
time.
that's
Yeah, these two are incredible. The longevity, as you brought up off air, Lori, and then just I don't know. Maybe you have the vast variety like Sue. We're talking motocross. You've been on the pavement. She won her first race at Willow Springs, was it?
Yes.
And the flat
Don't you
track and
love
the
Willow
mountain
Springs?
biking and oh my gosh.
So,
Off-road car racing.
oh, you did. You
Do
got
I was
it.
a
tell.
stunt woman for 9 years. And,
What movies have you done?
Terminator, Footloose.
I've never heard of either one. Jeez, those are
talking
big ones.
A lot of TV stuff.
What'd you do in Terminator? Which vehicle?
I was doubling Linda Hamilton
Stop it!
and throwing bombs and
no kidding.
things out at the. Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Wait, what? You were what? You were
Throwing bombs through the tunnels and
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, just doing some stunt driving, hitting guardrails and
Isn't that
things
the
like
most fun
It's
you could ever imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted
I
to be a
think
stunt
she
driver.
seeks fun stuff like that.
Well, and things come to you by the things that you have done. Factory riders. What factory teams have you ridden for?
Both of them.
I raced in 1974. I raced for Hodaka through a bike shop, and that was only I don't know, maybe a year stint, and then I started racing for Yamaha USA through another bike shop, and my whole career was basically racing for Yamaha.
Okay. All right.
And then they sent me to all the races
Sure.
and
You did some
built the bikes
international.
and-
Is that when you did some international stuff?
I went and I did some stunt work with Evel Knievel in '79, and then I also went to Roger DeCoster called me out of the blue in 1980 and asked me if I would be interested in going to Buenos Aires to race in what they had then. It was a men's championship series, and
So call Sue.
I was like, "Who's calling me?" I said, "How fast can I say? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And
Yes.
it was great because I was young and I went over there and I ended up getting second in the series.
The men's series.
In the men's series. And in 1980 in Argentina and Buenos Aires, women didn't
No,
wear
no.
shorts. They didn't
Right.
do anything. And I'm out running. They're like, "You can't go out there like that." I said, "I'm not running in jeans."
Yeah.
What about you?
I was briefly, about a year or so, factory sponsored by Yamaha International.
Okay, so both of you owe a lot of it to Yamaha. So I have to tell you a cute story. So I had this vintage motorcycle group on KUSI. She's heard this story 100 times, and I just love it. So they had all these bikes, Hodakas, Bultacos, most beautiful bikes. They're all brand spanking new. So I walk up to the guy with the Bultaco, and I said, "So, how do you like your bike?" "Oh, yeah, thing's wonderful." I says, "How easy is it to start?" "Oh, starts on a dime." I said, "Well, that can't be a
Sue
Bultaco
is shaking her
because
head
those
no.
things do not start easy, right?
Verbal
Right?
said
Am I
shaking
right?
her
And it's
head
on the
no.
wrong side.
And it's on the wrong side to boot. Oh my God, it's absolutely
It'll kick you back over the handlebars.
yes, and a heartbeat if you're not watching what
Absolutely.
you're doing. Wow, that's crazy. So time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
Now, are you still racing?
No. Well, I raced a couple weeks ago. It was an invitational race, and it was a fundraiser for a speedway rider that had had passed a few years
Okay.
ago, and they have it at Ventura every year. And they had an intermission race where it was a team race with a male pro and then a female pro. And so the women took off first, and we rode 5 laps, and then we had to switch over bikes, but we were going backwards on the track.
Is this Ventura Speedway?
Yeah, Ventura Speedway.
Yeah.
Now, I hadn't been on a dirt bike in 10 years. And even then, it was like I did a parade lap or something. So to get back on it and go out there and race, and I just didn't want to fall. I wanted to win the whole shot, and I didn't want to fall.
Right.
And
you accomplished.
how'd
And
we
she
do?
did both, and she smoked us all.
Were you there too?
Oh, yeah.
You were racing too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Who was
is
your
a-
male counterpart?
I raced with Dan Waller, who
Oh, yeah.
Dan Waller's big time in Speedway. He has
Yeah.
a bike shop in Santa Barbara at
Yeah.
Precision Cycles.
How about you, Lori?
My partner was Bobby Toko.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first mini world champion in 1972. We've been friends for 50 years as
Oh,
well.
I
that
love it.
And
So did you get the bug again?
I know, right?
I know.
In the vein, I
Don't
was
you
like,
hate
"Oh
that?
man, now what am I gonna do?"
You did so
Do you
well
have a
not
dirt
doing
bike
it.
right now in your possession? Could you throw your leg over one?
Oh yeah.
How do you not? How do you keep yourself?
The last few years I've had a lot of injuries that I had to take care of, and I've got a lot of artificial. I got
Yeah.
more metal in me than
Right.
But I realized that I could still go out and do it. Now my parents and my family, though, they're like just rolling their eyes, like, "What is wrong with you?" And that little
There's that
chip
look.
in that brain went, "Oh, I can do it."
Wait, all I'm hearing is race car, race a car, race car. There's a
My body's
there's a-
not enough involved. I did do it for a while when I was coming back from a bad injury, but I really liked the fact that in motocross, it's the most physically demanding sport that there is.
By far.
And I'm an athlete, and I've been an athlete since I was 9 years old.
Right.
And what was always worked in my favor when I raced against the guys was that I trained, and I was in better shape, was
Than the
light,
guys.
and I could get the starts,
Right.
and then,
Yeah.
Okay, so
Did you see the elbows out?
Oh,
Did
she
you
went the
notice
whole
the-
shot.
Yeah, did you notice that
Well,
elbows
no,
out?
because I'm still on the car thing. So what I can do, so my race car has a motorcycle engine. See, that should catch your ear. And I'll just switch off the power steering and make it more difficult on you. And would that be more enticing?
As it
Sue?
does.
It could be. I
Yeah.
mean, I just like being on wheels.
Do you know what?
There's
Do you know
just
what?
two extra. I grew up with my dad. I told you my mom and dad raced on motorcycles. I grew up hearing 4 wheels is too many.
Yeah.
They would always say that.
Well,
I mean, if you want to tip it
Tell
up
them.
on 2
Tell
wheels.
them what motor you
I
got.
have a GSXR 1000.
Well, that'll make that thing go.
See, I'm just trying to get her interested.
Oh, I'm always my ears
You'll
are
give
always.
her the seat in your car.
She fits too. People are always too tall to get into my car.
You want to get into a door slammer?
No.
Thank you. Let's take a break. This is Racer Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks. Welcome back to Racer Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
This segment is brought to you by El Cajon Ford, where nobody, absolutely nobody, treats you better than El Cajon Ford. El Cajon Ford is at 1595 East Main Street in El Cajon. Go to elcajonmotors.com for new and used, family owned and operated. They even have a service department that'll work on every car in your driveway. How cool is that? Paul Dyke and his son PJ race out at Barona.
Sure do.
Is there one more son, or is it just PJ? I always
I hear PJ. I don't hear another one.
Yeah, well, they win. They
know.
get trophies left and right.
don't
It is
stalk that deeply.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So if you're looking for a good dealer to buy, lease a car from, El Cajon Ford. Do we have Todd on the line? We got Todd Salazar. He is owner of Barona Speedway along with his family. How you doing, bud?
How are you guys?
Oh, we're
Great.
just having a wonderful day. Anytime we can talk motorsports, how bad could it be? So you had a 2-day event.
Successful 2-day
Successful,
event.
I understand. And you had people coming from everywhere.
New Mexico, lots of Arizona guys.
Wow.
Steve Warcell came. He was one of our guys, and his job took him to Washington State. So he drove down, and good car counts. We had 126 cars Friday night and 123 cars Saturday.
Nice.
Were you expecting that many, or were you surprised?
Yeah, I mean, no, we were. That's what we were expecting, or more.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And
So,
and I understand this.
consistent car counts.
Yeah, the stands were full.
Yep, we did really good. It was a good weekend.
Wow. So that means you're going to do it again.
Yes.
Well, your team really works super hard to put on probably the best show in Southern California when it comes to dirt racing, and I mean that with all sincerity. I know Britney hears it. I hear it, and when people go out, especially for the first time, they are absolutely amazed as to how much fun they have. And
That includes the junior division too.
Yes,
I
it
just want to
does.
acknowledge that as well.
Right.
Not all tracks have it, and we do. Verona does.
Verona
and they're
really
just,
puts a lot of effort into it.
we're going to continue to have that many just great adult drivers because they're starting so early.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you got coming up?
So Saturday, it's the mini sprints. It's their last time for the year. I don't have the freaking schedule in front of me.
I do.
Hey, Brittany
Okay,
has
you
it.
go ahead and read it off for me.
IMCA Sport Mods, IMCA Stock Cars Street Stocks, IMCA Hobby Stocks, Lightning Sprints, and I believe that's with the wings. I think I've been seeing that advertised.
They are with the wings. Yes.
Yeah. Pure Stocks, Dwarfs, and then the juniors are running mini dwarfs and junior sprints.
Right. And it is
Yes.
going to be a show to end all shows. And everybody was worried about the weather. I don't think the weather was that bad.
When the sun went
It
down,
was hot. Yeah,
Till the sun went
was
down.
going- Yeah.
I couldn't believe I put a
It was-
sweatshirt on when the sun went down. I was
Really?
shocked. Yeah.
It got cold when the sun went down, absolutely.
Yeah. You can
That's
always count on that.
Nothing wrong with that. So how much does that affect track prep when the weather is like that?
It screws it all up.
Ah!
At least
Well,
he's honest.
Yeah, they cut the track this time between the heats and the mains for
Oh,
the
really?
adults. Yeah, I was surprised to see that.
The problem that we're having is that we have two different materials on the track.
Oh.
And the darker material, that's why it got so dusty on Friday night. And that's why it was completely different on Saturday. So when we were done racing, we went out and ripped the track. And then we grabbed more of the darker material to cover up what was underneath that was making the dust. And that's why the tracks were completely different from Friday to Saturday.
I heard they were different. I was there on Friday, and if anyone got a picture of me, they can use it against me because during the modifieds, there was just so much energy on the track. I had my hat on, my glasses back on. I usually don't wear them at night, and I broke out my bandana and put
really?
it on. It was so dusty, it almost hurt. But I was like, I got to watch. I got to keep my eyes open because it was such a good race. I think it was the third
Wow.
division to go out. It was, yeah. There's so much energy out there.
When they went out there for their hot laps, the A-mods, Kane and I intercepted at the same time at the track entrance and the dust. And we looked at each other and we saw, what is this, you know? And then Matt Hicks is standing right there and he's throwing his hands up in the air because he likes a dry, slick track.
Ah.
And we were just like, are you kidding me? And so we put it together, that's what it was the different color material. And the track was awesome on Saturday night. It was, we didn't have to touch it.
Wow.
Very
We didn't have to touch the track. So
go ahead.
it was a good weekend. Tricia really worked her tail off.
Oh,
getting the
yeah.
sponsorship. Our guys, everyone on our team, Mark Rose, everyone involved with, Ken doing the blade, Bardo, everyone. It was really a good evening.
And
evening.
staging, they're doing well in staging.
Oh, Samantha has that wrapped up.
Yes.
She knows what she's doing.
And then my favorite at the end of the night is when your daughter hands me the envelope with the cash in it. She's so
Okay,
adorable.
Tatum.
I love her.
You can't have his daughter.
Oh, she's so adorable and so organized. She's so meticulous. She's
Takes after her dad.
On it.
Takes after her dad.
She's a little Trisha.
Yeah. Do you mind elaborating on not the upcoming, but the next one I'm seeing, the Josh and Bob Thompson Memorial on August 19th?
Josh was a very good friend of ours, his whole family, and his father was our flagman. And we lost Josh in 2022. And with my personal things, we really didn't get to, because I was, in Jupiter.
Yes.
So in the off season, I had called his brother, Jeff, and they were racers. They did dwarf cars and they did modifieds. And Jeff, he's up in Bakersfield now. So I ran in, by him, hey, we would like to do a race for Josh. And then, their father, Bob, was our flagman. And he passed away last year. I forgot the date. It was August or September. And so we're incorporating it, Josh and Bob Thompson Memorial Race. And so we're going to do, since they were in the modifieds and the dwarf cars, they started in the dwarfs. So we're going to do 2,000 to win for the A-mods. And then we're going to do 1,000 to win for the dwarf cars.
Yeah, I see the pretty purse there.
Yeah, that'll definitely bring.
What do you think, Sue? You want to hop in my dwarf car? 1,000 to win. She won the first time she was on a street bike at Willow.
Talked me into it. It doesn't take hard.
I'll see if Darren Brown's showing up or not.
Her arm is already twisted. Well, and there you go. That's another thing this track is notorious for, and that's, having memorials for past, crew people and drivers, and that's what a small town track needs to do is to keep engaging their fans, their family. And I think it's good to hear that even the big NASCAR guys are doing campaigns to support your small tracks. And I think, and you'll have to admit, you've got a really good team right now as far as everything from your announcer to, tech and you got Mark Rose, and because you can't do it by yourself and you need a team. And I think you've got a really good team put together.
Yes. Right down to Ken. Ken helps me run. He blades the track for me.
Right.
So I do the watering. I do all the watering of the track during the week. And he lives in Ramona too. He's a good friend of ours.
Right.
And he'll stop by and, I'll do my watering and I'll tell him, go away. I got this. See you tomorrow, And so if we're ripping or we're just, soaking the track, he stops by. With the warmer heat, with the warmer weather now, we're having, it was since last year, obviously, with the heat, and we had all the moisture in the ground from the rain and everything.
Right.
So we're, redoing what we're doing. We bought the water wetter, so we're putting that back in the track. And Saturday night, it was a phenomenal racetrack. Ken does a really good job, and, it pays you back for all the work you do during the week.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. If you don't put the time in Monday through Thursday, you're not going to be happy with the result on Friday or Saturday. Oh, here she comes.
Yeah, you don't just open the gate and say, okay, we're open, and throw a load of water on.
Yeah, ain't going to work.
So,
all right, well, Brittany.
Nick asked me. Oh, pardon?
I'm sorry, Brittany has to ask the question she always asks.
I think I saw it posted. Is there really practice on Friday? Did I see that?
Yes.
Okay, that's out of our way. What were you going to say?
It was posted. I just wanted to make sure it's still on.
Yeah. No, we just don't open the gate. Get there, open the front gate, open the track gate, and say, here we are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of preparation for getting everything going.
Oh,
and it's like Trisha. Trisha has to deal with the payouts, with the monies, with the change, with all that stuff, and Mark, doing the lineups and all that stuff. It's just not show up and let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Got to be organized.
Yeah.
And the drivers respect that too. If they know if there's a practice, then they know what they have to do, just like you guys know what you have to do. Because if practices weren't beneficial, then nobody would ever bother coming, and what would be the point? So the fact that you do your side and the drivers do their side, I think that's what makes it work. But I know it's a lot of work, which is let me ask a good question. Are you open to more volunteers?
Always looking for more people. Yes.
Okay. Because we don't really talk about it. And you can always tell when a track is running well. Most people think, they got this thing handled. But they may not know what's going on behind the scenes when you've got, people working until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, either cleaning up or getting done after a race. Because, a lot of people just go race, or the spectators just go spectate, then they leave and don't think nothing of it. So I think, we need to maybe even do a segment on KUSI on strictly volunteers. Maybe get a bunch of volunteers to actually come to KUSI, and just promote the out of volunteering. Because I think that's something that the fans and even the drivers need to realize. It takes a team or an army, really, to put a race on that they're absolutely enjoying every other weekend.
It would be nice to know them better.
I think so.
We know they exist.
I think
so many of us are grateful because we have that outlet, but it would be awesome to kind of personalize them a little more.
So I'll reach out.
Humanize
I'll
them.
reach out to Tricia next week, and we'll pick a date that's going to be conducive, and you guys put it out to the volunteers that, hey, we'd really like to honor you, on KUSI, and have them come down. We'll bring one race car. Just put it on the patio, but then bring the volunteers down. If that works for you, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's just like our fire crew guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, he just moved, or he is moving.
Yeah.
So he drove the truck, right?
Right.
We bounce a guy. If we're short a guy in the ambulance, they got a guy that backs up that.
Right.
Robert Chavez has been driving the push truck, and I think that we don't have our tow truck guy this week. Our normal guy isn't there. So those guys, they just step up to the plate and help us where we need the help.
Sure.
Wherever we need it.
Yeah. All right. We got to let you go. Thanks again. BaronaSpeedway.com, BaronaSpeedway.com. Plus, social media is here, there, and everywhere. Barona Speedway. Keep the track alive. Bring your family. And I guarantee you'll have the time of your life. Todd, thanks again for everything you do. Big hug to the family, and we'll talk to you down the road.
We're racing
Have
next
a great day, guys. Thank you.
Yep, we're racing next week. All right, this is Racer Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is Racer Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
This segment is brought to you by Paris Auto Speedway. Man, if you haven't been to Paris Auto Speedway, you've missed the show of a lifetime. All starts with Scott Delosio. He is the man when it comes to announcing, knows everybody and anybody, but it's just a great show. And they just do it week after week after week. But you got to go to ParisAutospeedway.com because they do, especially during the really hot summer months, they do take a little time off. Scott, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing down there?
Good. Now we're going to throw a trivia question at you and see what you know. Have you ever heard of Sue, the Flying Fish, and Lori, Insane Payne? Used to run flat track.
Sue Fish's name sounds familiar. I did a little bit of flat track way back in the day.
Yeah, well, she was way back in the day. But she's racing now, so we have her in as guest. So she'll be listening, so they're going to critique if you start talking flat track. So what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. We took last night off, and as you were mentioning, this is the time of year we take a little bit of time off. We race the next 3 weeks, and then we take 3 weeks off before coming back. I think we have, after that, about 8 races the last 2 months of the year.
Okay.
Or September, October, November. It's just this time of year.
Oh, it's so
it's
hot.
one of the times of the year when, the crowds kind of go down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's hotter this time of year, and also you've got school starting up.
Boo.
So,
oh, sorry.
We lose some fans when that happens because it's our last chance to do some other things at the races. So,
right.
we're back next week for the first 3 weeks in a row, Night of Destruction.
Oh, Night of Destruction. Now, these two would be great doing
Who
the
would
double.
be on the top steering and who would be on the bottom?
Demo derby.
I will pull up a picture for you, too.
Yeah. So we'll let Scott continue on.
Yes.
I've lost my train of thought there. Yeah, we're back. This is actually, there's only 2 more nights of destruction left after this year. One in September and one in October. So it's people getting down to the short strokes, getting out to see it. And we tell everybody, come out early, 5:15 to 5:45, put all the drivers on the racetrack with their cars, open the gate so all the fans can go down there, meet the drivers, get autographs, take photos. And most of them have candy or some kind of giveaways for all the little kids that show up. So, try that at a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah.
Right?
No kidding. Wow.
And, I think the best thing about our shows is, last week we had 4 divisions running. 4 divisions or 5 divisions, which is about the max. We never run much more than that.
Right.
We started our first race, it was at 7. Our last race ended about 9:45.
Yeah, that was really good.
Well, we're normally out between 9:30 and 10. We don't want people that sit there and get bored.
Right.
We don't want people to sit there or have their kids get bored. That's even worse because the mom, dad ask them, you want to come back again? The kid's going to remember staying up till 11 o'clock at night and falling asleep in the grandstands. They ain't going to want to come back. So, we want to run a real quick show, get everybody in, get it all compacted together so people want to come back again.
Right. Yeah, because, you almost have to look at it as like going to the movies. You don't want to stay longer than 2-3 hours because, you have a tendency, especially with kids, they do lose their attention span, shall we say.
Yeah, if there's a ton of yellow flags, we'll mix in red flags, and they're sitting there through that.
Yeah.
Or, they're sitting through different divisions. And when you got, we try to make it a smaller amount of cars there because, I going up to sprint car race in Central California years ago, and I quit going because on those same nights they were running 5 classes stock cars with them.
Oh, wow.
So the sprint cars would run their heat races, and they then go to the stock cars. You wouldn't see the B main for the sprint cars for like an hour and 15 minutes later. And it was the same thing getting to the main event. So, we try to compact that in so people just do not get bored.
Right. So you guys doing anything special to the track? While you were off, just like any upgrades or anything like that?
No. The track is fine. The facility is the most modern facility in California.
Oh, yeah.
Track is fine. Track gets used a lot. I know yesterday there was a go-kart race there in the afternoon. I think today, and I'm not 100% sure about that, but there was either this yesterday or this coming Sunday, there's a practice session for the guys basically in the mini stock class or the IMCA Sport Compact class.
Oh.
But the track gets rented out a lot for practices.
Sure.
We get people come out, they do TV and movie shoots, commercials. So the track gets used quite a bit besides racing.
Right. But it still constitutes maintenance and taking care of it, and because you want to make sure you present well.
No, if you don't get behind on stuff, you really don't have to. You just got to keep up with it. You're not doing major repairs on anything. The track surface, Don's been preparing that with Rick Fulton for
years.
Don's been doing that since 1996. They've got the track surface down to where it should be. It's a dirt track, so every so often it's not going to go the exact way you want it to go. But, that's part of dirt track racing. It ain't no damn pavement race where it's the same the entire night long.
No.
Dirt track changes. Dirt track can change 3 or 4 times in a main event.
Yeah. That kind of happened to me last race.
Did that happen?
At Verona.
Yeah.
I never found the groove, apparently.
Yeah. Your dad told you.
All right, after the race.
Yeah, after the race. Well,
that's part of dirt track racing.
Absolutely, that is.
It happens to everybody.
That's true. So so I'm looking. Yeah, we're definitely got to get my tail up there. That's for sure. But
When's the last time you were there, Dave?
It's been a little bit of a while. Yeah. Well, it's getting up at 4:30.
Yes, you work early the next morning.
See, if I didn't work KUSI, then that would take care of a lot of the issues. Yeah,
it's so fun.
Oh, I know, and I've been there when I first met Scott and Don. I mean, I was hightailing it up there, and boy, it was tough the next day to get on TV.
I bet. Ladies, have you seen it recently?
No.
The track?
Oh,
the nice
really?
restrooms and the sangria machine they
Nicest
have?
restrooms you ever seen, ever.
There's so many of them, and they're all so clean.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I'll say,
We're used to outhouses.
I know, right?
You won't get that. You
I
won't get that
know.
at Paris Auto Speedway. The best.
Right?
There's not an outhouse on the property.
No.
This isn't the days of Speedway 117 and Ascot anymore.
Be nice on 117.
I will say Verona has them in the pits, but they are cleaned between every race.
Oh,
I
are they really?
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes. For an outhouse, they're pretty clean.
They're pretty clean.
Much better than the local
And the
10Ks.
food there at Paris is awesome.
Oh, my God. No, I had Sue at Sangria.
Well,
Her eyes
Yeah.
got really big. I mean, I may have experienced one or two there.
yeah, maybe one or two. So, all right. So, how are the points championships coming along?
Stock car stuff's really good. You know, we went into last week, 2 of the 5 classes we ran. One of them, the street stock class, actually had 3 guys tied for first going into the night. And I think 2 of them are still tied for first. Their next race is going to be in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the other class, they had 2 guys tied for first. You don't get that happening, this late in the season so much. That's pretty cool. Hopefully it'll be a fight down to the finish in all the classes. One guy's got Chris Carnes, you've had before.
Yeah.
Had on before, I should say. He had the biggest lead going into last week, and that was in the factory stock class. So it's been tight all year. Hopefully it'll continue on that way all year. Same in Night of Destruction, not quite as tight as the others, but we'll see what they can do on Saturday night.
And that really makes for good racing for the fans. When you've got, instead of people running away from a championship and you've got them, door handle to door handle in the top 5, in your case 3, that's really makes it worthwhile going because you'll see some serious competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extra incentive, the fans know what's going on. These 3 guys are tied for first. We try to keep them updated, it's something like that after the heat race. Try to do quick points to announce to them how the points are going into the main event.
Sure.
And even do that during the main event, announce to them, if they finish this way, this is where they're going to be. So that, maybe that makes them want to come back a little bit the next time to see more of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, because your job is to keep the fans engaged, keep the audience on the edge of their chair.
I was looking up Alyssa Smith's Facebook page because I think she was down at Verona. I think her boyfriend, fiance, husband, I'm not sure quite. He came down and won the darn thing last week.
Oh, did he
And
really?
he's doing the acceptance speech, and I'm like, I think that's Alyssa Smith. And then he thanked her.
Yeah.
And I think she was on the track. And so I was looking her up, and people were just giving you kudos for having all the kids come out on the track. I wish more tracks would interact with kids. I've never seen so many kids smile while handing out pictures and candy. And so kudos to you guys.
Kids that's the biggest thing. I mean,
Sure.
You want kids to come and be happy, so they ask mom and dad to come back. We've made a little change in the music the past couple of races, which we're going to continue on. They play my favorite type of music. I'm from Detroit, so Motown 60s and 70s, but I'm telling you, that's not what you want to play to a crowd at a racetrack these days because it's got to be upbeat, fast music.
Yeah.
You got to mix the music up, as we were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Yes, getting Brandon on
Mix
that.
the music up so everybody can enjoy their portion of music. And that wasn't cutting it. So if you come now, you're going to hear a whole lot more upbeat, faster music at the racetrack. And that's another part of it. Keep the excitement going.
Well, you guys are at every race are always adjusting. You got your ear to the ground and you adjust accordingly for it to be a better experience all the way around for drivers, fans, and even employees, really, when you come right down to it. So, again.
Well, you've got to listen to the fans. You've got to listen to the drivers and teams.
Yep. Without a doubt.
There's 3 things you need to make a racetrack successful. You got to have the racetrack. You got to have the fans that come to the racetrack.
Yeah.
And you got to have the drivers that come to the racetrack to entertain the fans. If you're missing even one of those, you're done.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of people don't think that way, but that's the way it is.
Hey, what's going on with Damian Gardner? Is he still running?
No.
Okay.
He stepped aside last year.
Okay.
That was it for him. I'm not saying he will never race again.
Yeah.
But he basically has retired. I know.
Oh, really?
I got in contact with me about having go over this coming winter to race the winter in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
And I got a hold of him, put them together, and I heard he's interested in that. But no, he has not raced since last.
Okay.
I don't think he ran Turkey Night at Ventura. He may have. I might have forgotten that. But he has not raced a sprint car since last November. The team sold all the equipment.
Oh.
So he's just enjoying life, going to the river and stuff. Now he's helping.
Yeah.
He's helping a few guys. In fact,
Sure.
AJ Bender, they got that new gas chassis that the Sextons put together.
Right.
They were having a little trouble getting dialed into that. Well, Damien came out one Thursday night. They ran to the racetrack, let him watch the car. Then he got in the car and told them, you need to do this, you need to do that. And, since then, AJ's had, I think his last two finishes, both in the top 5, including the last race 2 weeks ago, his best ever finish in USAC CRA sprint cars when he finished second.
Well, do me a favor, because I know you have his contact info. Reach out to Gardner and just tell him that we'd sure like to have him call in, because he's such a
The
show.
only problem is getting him to remember to call in.
You give me his
How
number.
many times did I end up calling in when he was supposed to? It's like,
I know.
God dang it, he didn't call.
You give me his number. We'll hook him up. Buddy, thank you very, very much, and look forward to talking to you next week.
You guys stay cool down there.
You got it, man. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got Sue, the flying fish, and Lori, insane Payne, coming up to close the show on FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome to Racer Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, show off air is always better than on air.
It's good as well.
It is. Yeah. Well, this segment is brought to you by Certified Car Clinic, 11370 North Woodside Avenue. Hey, if you want to take your car for general automotive, no problem. But if you have a dirt car, circle car, drag car, and you want to go really fast, Dyno's in-house, 11370 North Woodside. Give them a call, 619-444-7170. All right. Go ahead there, young lady.
Well, I was thinking, since we only have 9 minutes and 20 seconds, could we talk present and future? We know
anything you want.
We're in the presence of greatness. I don't know that officially we acknowledge that Sue the Flying Fish has been inducted into the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Just to put into perspective,
congratulations.
right?
Thank you.
The presence that we have among us.
What about Lori?
No, but I did go to see Sue be inducted into the Hall of Fame, of course, and she's also in the FIM.
But I heard you were in the Payne Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well, probably, yeah.
Or locker.
No, you haven't even hurt yourself one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you do show up places. We were talking about Burnsworth earlier. Burnworth. No
Scott
S.
Burnworth.
No S. That came out.
Yeah, but see, nobody, you guys never did this to be inducted into anything.
No.
Right?
No.
And even if you're not, okay. That's
okay, yeah.
It's perfectly fine.
It's all about the love of the sport.
Absolutely.
And the people that are in it. Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest family you've ever had in your life.
Absolutely.
The dirt track family is what I refer to with my guys. Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to bring up something we talked about in the green room. You were talking about becoming, or maybe you are, a brand ambassador and what you want to do presently and in the future.
Yeah, I am working more towards getting together with some companies that have a like-minded thing and want to really try to bring more women into motorcycle riding. If you look at the demographic of women being able to buy their own bikes now and do their own things and work on them, and then teach clinics, and I do keynote speaking about my career, because my career has been very eclectic, and I've been very fortunate to be able to travel the world and just share the stories of training, of all the aspects that it takes to be
And aren't you supposed
professional
to?
athlete.
Aren't you supposed to?
Supposed to what?
To do exactly what you're saying.
No.
But see, I've been retired from that
But
for
you
so
have
many years.
all this knowledge.
It's true.
Just oozing out of your ears. And as well as you as well.
It's true.
Hey, you never got hurt? You're a better
Right?
speaker
You
than
can
her.
talk for hours.
Not till 5 years ago. Yes, I was very blessed. Very
But
blessed.
it's all about giving back.
Absolutely.
You know? And if you're not, and you
Absolutely.
too,
Yep.
if you're not giving, because there's some little girl sitting in the audience that's going to hear your story, and there's something's going to go click. What's her name? Kukula from SNS.
Summer Kukla.
Summer
Oh my
Kukla.
gosh, she's doing so well.
This is a young
on the
lady. Her mom and
flat
dad
track.
own.
Grandma and Grandpa.
They own a magazine now online about the desert. And she started racing.
Yes.
She races over here. You know her?
Yes.
Up at Camp Lockett.
And I
all the time.
understand.
She's doing
I'm
well.
trying to get her on TV, but I'm having a little difficulty.
It's quite a drive for them.
Oh, please.
Well, actually, it's
Leave-
closer than you two. Sorry.
Leave the desert to come to San Diego for the weekend.
Right.
But no, and I applaud you for that. And see, and there's another KUSI segment that we can do. And if you guys want to do that, and since you, how many bikes do you have left?
Yeah.
I have one bike
What is it?
right now. It's a Z400 little Kawasaki sport bike,
Okay.
little Canyon Ripper.
So you don't have any
Little
old race bikes.
Canyon Ripper.
Not right now. I am going to be getting more into dual sport stuff.
Oh, really?
I really know that at this age, I'm just a little shy of 65, and I've had just about everything, every joint you can imagine replaced. I don't really want to be on a racetrack per se, although we went and raced, but that was just kind of a fluke thing.
Yeah.
But I do want to go and teach riding principles and
Right.
basic technique. We're short. Women are short.
Right.
I'm 5'2", and so the bikes that come now, you've
Yeah.
really got to learn just the common things that you can do a thread through that work on every bike that you ride.
Right.
And
Right.
If someone can show you something that's so simple that you wouldn't have thought of yourself, and it can make such a huge difference in your
Right.
riding. Absolutely. I mean,
Well,
you
and
see
shortness-
someone's face light
and
up.
aha
and
moment.
shortness, a lot of people take that as a negative.
Oh, lower center of gravity can help.
But I was talking to one of the riders at Moto World, and he's 5'5", and I was helping a Marine. She was getting a Honda Rebel 300, and she says, "Well, I'm pretty short," and he goes, "No, ignore that.
Not in that sport.
No, just ignore it." He says, because it's all about getting up on the bike and going, and your short stature is going to be a benefit, not a negative.
The lightweight too.
And the
lightweight.
lightweightness. So I think that's something that you should really push. And I would get with Yamaha is who was your main.
Yamaha was my main sponsor, and then there are other companies that I've worked throughout my career, and we're putting together proposals now and doing that, and I have been doing and getting on to keynote speaking engagements,
right. Which you need to do.
And I love doing it because I really, really love talking about the sport that gave me just the most incredible
And
life.
I can't wait to get your book. That's going to be
Me too.
awesome.
I don't
Me too.
know
You
if
mean
I
the,
named
the
names.
dual book between the yeah, right.
Aren't
Ask
you
for
excited?
permission.
Aren't you excited about
I
getting
am.
the
All
book?
the photographs. I can't wait to see.
Oh, it's going to be a wonderful.
Yeah.
Did we had Mercedes Gonzalez in recently and
Speedy.
She's awesome.
yes.
Yep,
and
Mer Speedy.
Yes, she actually in one of the interviews I previewed gave you a lot of kudos. She looked up to you. Again, putting into perspective the greatness that we are
Surrounded
in
by.
the presence of you two.
She's a wonderful girl, and she took the ball when I retired. She followed in the same lane that I was trying to pursue about being approachable, being able to speak well and support your sponsors. And basically what your job is as a racer is your advertisement for them. So whatever you put out there, whatever you wear, whatever, it's all important.
Yes.
And she is just she's such a neat person. And I look up to her like nobody's business too.
It was a delight. Now, Dave, if you can multitask, do you recall, is she doing some sort of schooling as well or mentoring? I felt like she was, and if that's the case, maybe talk to her about it.
We've been talking about it.
Okay. Just wanted to push you in that direction.
No, we've been talking about
All
it,
right.
working together.
Well, both of you are always welcome back or call in, both of you, since you guys are joined at the hip. I'm sure there's tons of more stories. And I know Brittany's not going to sleep until she can get them all out of you.
Yeah, I have a truth or not, truth or myth. Did your dad, when you were really young, really try to go around to the pits and pay other girls to race so you could have a full
Yes, he
female?
actually did. He actually did.
Thank you.
He
I
wanted
needed
the
that.
girls to be recognized and have their own
Sure,
class.
sure.
My sister and I were like, we wanted that too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we just want to race. So if we got to race with the guys, we got to race with the
we
guys.
don't care.
Yeah, we don't care.
Because once you put your helmet on, you all
Except for the
look
parades.
Yeah.
the pigtails. That's a dead giveaway. Well, ladies, it's been an honor.
Thanks for coming
Can't
all the
thank
way
you
down.
enough.
Thank you so much.
Brittany, as always, 3 hours is never enough with
And
you.
thank you, Michael Lewis, for the help.
And thank you, Brendan, for being so quiet.
Well, he's going to be asleep in a couple weeks once the baby's here, huh? We're going to have to
He's
check
not
in.
going to do it.
I'm gonna come in with a hoarse voice.
Yeah, all right. And we don't
He's
even
going to
know.
be a daddy in a couple
And we
weeks.
don't even know why that is, so we're not even going there.
Well, listen, thank you very much for having us on the show. It's been a pleasure. Love to come back.
You're more
Got
than
a lot
welcome.
of stories.
Had fun,
Oh,
huh?
boy.
You bet I
See?
will.
There you go. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Gun Owners Radio, right around the corner. FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
answer.